Welcome to Growth from Dubai, the podcast that brings you real stories of ambition, growth, and success from entrepreneurs and creators to industry leaders and innovators. These are the stories that show what's possible when you choose Dubai as a place to grow. I'm your host, Rafaela, and today's guest has navigated some of the most defining shifts in technology over the past 20 years, from the rise of the internet and global telecom to cloud computing, and now the AI era. Joining me is Carlo Pepe, co-founder of Koshima, an AI business consulting firm based right here in Dubai. Carlo's journey is a masterclass in tech evolution, and today he's on a mission to demystify AI and help companies create measurable, practical value from it. Let's get into the conversation. Welcome to the GFD podcast, Carlo. What drew you into tech in the first place, way back in the early days of the internet?
What drew me into tech? Well, I can give you the truth or I can give you a story. So I'll give you a bit of both. So the truth is I was getting off a bus in London, going to see some friends, and I went behind the bus stop. There was a recruitment agency there. I walked in and the woman at the first desk put the phone down. I said, "Hi, how can I help you?" I said, "I'm looking for a job." She said, "Do you know anything about the internet?" I said, "Yep." She said, "Do you know anything about sales?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Are you free for an interview tomorrow?" I said, "Yes." And then I got a job with the first independent ISP in the UK called Demon Internet. That's how I got into tech. That was in 1999. But tech has always fascinated me. So at that time, I wasn't very good at it, but I was building computers with my youngest brother. Really, he was building computers and I was just watching. But I really enjoyed tech. And then when I got that job at Demon Internet, my brain was just like a sponge. I just absorbed everything. And it fascinated me how inefficient we were and we still are as humans at work without using the right tech. So yeah, I got off a bus. I went into an office, I got a job, and I found something that I love.
Amazing.
So what happened at Demon Internet? What happened at Demon Internet? I was in a telephone-based sales role for small to medium enterprises.
Okay, wow.
And this is when the internet had speeds of 56K. Those little modems used to go da, 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 da. So my job was to advise businesses on the benefits of internet connectivity and on the benefits of websites. I then, like I said, I was a sponge, so I was just absorbing all this information. And I went on some training about a technology called MPLS, which actually means multi-protocol label switching, which is basically how do you get a network cable and how do you have internet, telephone, and data all on the same cable? And this training actually was for the corporate sales team. But I was lucky enough to go on this sales training. And then I started contacting back my customers and saying, what are you using this internet connectivity actually for? And that got me into a sale with one of my customers, which actually the setup fees for this deal was the equivalent of my monthly target. Oh, wow. And the annual fees was the equivalent of my annual target. It was incredible. And actually I got in some trouble because the customer was too big for me in small to medium enterprises. So the corporate sales team were on my back to say, why are you dealing with this guy? Why are you dealing with this company? I was just fascinated with the tech. And then kind of everything grew from there.
Okay, wow, what a story. Koshima was founded in 2023 and the name itself carries a name. So would you be so kind to explain what Koshima means and how it benefits businesses?
Yep, so Koshima was actually registered as a business in 2024, beginning of 2024, but we were in the stealth mode. So I actually understand what stealth mode means now. And that's basically you're working for someone else, but building a business in the background. So naughty, naughty, naughty. So my evenings and weekend with my co-founder were building frameworks, building structure towards the two things that we do in a few different ways. So Koshima is actually an island in the south of Japan. In fact, actually, the name Koshima means small island in Japanese. But Koshima is where something called the 100th monkey phenomenon took place. So Koshima is a small island. It's inhabited only by monkeys. And these monkeys have been observed. This is a true story. Monkeys have been observed since the 50s by scientists. And the primary diet of these monkeys are sweet potatoes. So what do the monkeys do? They dig up these sweet potatoes and they eat them. One young monkey called Imo, named by the scientists, was seen digging the sweet potato and washing it in the sea and then eating it. This is a new behavior. So they recorded this, as a good scientist would do. And then they noticed actually that other monkeys, young monkeys, were displaying the same behavior. And Imo was teaching the other monkeys to wash the sweet potatoes in the sea, remove the dirt, and they kind of guessed maybe added some seasoning with the salt from the sea. So Imo carried on teaching, the scientists carried on recording, and I think it's a period of 18 months. They recorded 82, 83 monkeys were displaying this behavior. The next day, all the monkeys on the island were displaying this behavior. And strangely, monkeys on neighboring islands were also displaying this behavior. Now, Imo doesn't have a boat. Imo doesn't go backwards and forwards between islands. So they came up with something called the 100th monkey phenomenon, which is basically a story of incremental gains having a transformative effect. And this is true of AI as well. If you can improve in a few different areas, and we have a very specific way that we'll probably talk about later, if you can improve, all of a sudden you get a transformation.
So entrepreneurs usually aim to build startups in Silicon Valley, London, or Shanghai, but you chose to start Koshima in Dubai. So how come that you chose Dubai?
Why Dubai? I mean, that rhymes. That could be like a catch line, couldn't it? Why Dubai?
Yeah, why Dubai? Why Dubai?
Well, look, Dubai, Middle East, GCC. If I go back to my earlier career, and we look at internet connectivity, we look at public cloud services. Actually, the Middle East was one of the last regions to have public cloud. Actually, my first role in the UAE was with the first public cloud in the UAE, Alibaba joint venture with Maras. And I've been here since 2017. Dubai is my home. When generative AI came in 2022, available to us, it's been around since 2016. AI has been around since 1950. It's the great leveler. It's the opportunity for the Middle East now to take hold of a technology at the same time the rest of the world has it and really leap forward. Starting Koshima in Dubai was more a question of, do I continue living in Dubai and start a business here, or do I uproot and go somewhere else? Now, Dubai, UAE, Middle East, Dubai, UAE, GCC, Middle East. Mm-hmm. This is where vision can be delivered on because there is also the desire, and there's some money to see that desire through.
100%.
Whereas a lot of other regions maybe have the desire but not the means.
Yeah.
So I guess let me say that again. UAE has the desire and the means to see through a vision.
Absolutely.
And so it made sense for me to start the business in Dubai. Also, you could say that the UAE maybe Dubai particularly, is a pretty good breeding ground for new businesses.
100%.
Quite business friendly.
Hmm.
I don't know that's 100% true. I think that's 98% true. The mix of different nationalities and cultures means that there's some different hurdles you would have that maybe you wouldn't have, let's say, in London, because you have almost one culture in London.
Definitely.
But yeah, there's the openness and the desire and the means to do something. And make no mistake, generative AI is going to be more impactful to humanity than any other technology ever.
Definitely. Where we were talking about Dubai, like why Dubai, and with the city offers, and just like how unique the city is, and especially when you're talking about the energy that you have in the city, where it feels like way easier to build something and to actually achieve something than in any other city. Do you feel the same?
I'd like to believe that, but I don't think it's entirely true, no.
Okay.
And again, Dubai is my home. I love Dubai. I am here to stay. When you look at the UAE, you look at the three main Emirates, Dubai attracts everything and everyone. So it's the most aggressive of the Emirates. It's the most competitive of the Emirates.
Definitely.
You go to Abu Dhabi, you have a little less of that. You go to Ras Al Khaimah, you have a little more less of that. And so that creates different operating environments. That said, the world thinks AI is new. It's not new. It's been around it's twice as old as I am. Actually, a bit less than that.
Wow, really? That long? Wow.
Yeah, AI, as a term, AI was first used in 1953. Artificial intelligence was first used by General Motors in 1960s.
Wow.
The problem is it's all been hidden in the background and used by big companies. It hasn't been accessible to you or me. But you've been using it and I've been using it.
That's very interesting.
Google Maps. When was the first time you used Google Maps?
As long as I can remember.
So that's
10 years,
artificial intelligence. That's AI. It's taking data from the phones and taking satellite data and creating routes for you. That's artificial intelligence. Amazon, Alexa, if you ever use Alexa, or Siri, Netflix, recommendations, like all of this is artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're deviating from your question. So the UAE has the desire and has the means. It's very entrepreneur friendly. And actually, I get a bit embarrassed when I think of myself and my co-founder as entrepreneurs. I don't know why. I guess because it's kind of new for us.
Okay, interesting.
But there's this hive of activity here.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
although it's very competitive and quite aggressive because of the competition, I believe that in the world of generative AI, we need competition. We need, the Koshima does things in a unique way. Like every business will tell you, we do things our way, which is unique. But we need competition in this space, and we need healthy competition. So, yeah, I think the good and the bad all roll into good anyway.
Interesting. Coming back to what you said earlier about that AI has been around for so long, why do you think it is that it has become so public in a way of that we're now using the word AI and that it's present all over? How come that it is happening now?
For one simple reason, it's available to you on your computer or your phone.
Convenience.
Accessibility.
Accessibility.
So OpenAI, who released ChatGPT, GPT-1 was actually released in 2016.
Oh, wow.
But that is the GPT brain. ChatGPT, the way you and I access GPT, came in 2022. So actually this new generation of AI, generative AI, has been around but not accessible. Now it's accessible. And actually, it's humanized AI.
Yeah.
So if you ask any of these tools a question, it responds as if there's like a little human being stuck in the phone. So it feels human in a way.
Interesting. What made you choose Dubai to launch Koshima?
Dubai to launch Koshima, I think, yeah, like I said, it's the place I reside. It's the place that has the means and the desire. It's very representative of the UAE. It's a gateway to the GCC. Also, there is this perception from the rest of the world that Dubai and the Middle East is really advanced, and we're quite advanced, but that will be a nice platform for me to launch internationally as well, because perception is everything. And it's a friendly place to do business. It's crowded, there's loads of competition, but it's still a bit friendly.
How does that competition feel like to you?
How does the competition feel like to me? At the moment, we have mixed competition.
Okay.
So there's a lot of traditional companies who have helped traditional technologies and are now putting their focus onto AI,
Okay.
which is not serving the world particularly well. It's a bit like a plumber learning how to wire a plug. You're not going to use that plumber to rewire your house.
Yes.
You want an electrician. And so we have a mixed bag of competition at the moment. We have some companies similar to ours that believe in a problem-first approach. We have the majority of the market who are a solution-first approach. This is the answer to all of your problems. And the customer doesn't actually know what their problems are really, or why they're a problem, or which problem is the highest problem in terms of priority. So it's a mixed bag of competition at the moment. Dubai have done some really cool things. So there's something called the AI seal for businesses, which Koshima will be applying for in the next month or so. This is a nice validation as to which organizations are good organizations to be working with.
Wow. Interesting. So, for anyone listening right now thinking of starting a business in Dubai, what would be one piece of advice that you would give?
One piece of advice. I'm limited to one piece of advice.
Well, feel free to give two if you have.
Okay. So, one piece of advice I would give will depend on whether you've lived in the UAE beforehand or not. So, if you're new to Dubai, new to the UAE, you need to be mindful that there are all of the different nationalities, all of the different cultures in Dubai. And that if you are engaging with a business as a customer, like you're engaging with a customer, you might have various different cultures that you need to engage in one project. So that can be a bit tricky if you're new to the region and you haven't had that before. So I lived all my life in London. I had global roles, but I was always based in London. And my global roles gave me a lot of good experience because I was working in the US with Americans. I was working in Singapore with Singaporeans, in Hong Kong with Chinese. So that gave me like a load of experience. So that helped me. Had I not had that experience, I think there would have been more of a business culture shock.
Okay.
So if you're in the UAE, if you're in Dubai and you're setting up a business in Dubai, then the one piece of advice I can give you is be prepared for things to go really fast and be prepared for things to go really slowly.
Okay.
Because,
both at the same time.
and maybe at the same time. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can be working with a customer or working with a partner and things move really quickly. But in that same engagement, there can be different areas where things just don't move at all.
Yeah.
And generally, My experience of working in Europe is there is a general tempo that a business works at. Whereas what I found here is that different areas of the same business can work on very different tempos and frequencies.
Well, it's a very interesting insight. First time that I hear that.
Expect the unexpected.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So, Carlo, where do you see the world of AI coming in the next years? Do you think it's going to play a bigger role in enhancing businesses?
A really big question, and there's loads of different facets to the answer. So AI has been around for a long time, as we said, right? And I'm going to give an analogy as I gave a little earlier in just before we went on camera. So think of AI as a mountain, and generative AI, which generates new content like ChatGPT, like Google, Gemini, like Google's new VO3, which creates videos and sound together, which is insane.
Oh, wow.
This is the peak of the mountain. This mountain has taken 75 years to get to its current peak because AI was first coined as a phrase in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
75 years ago.
Wow.
So it's taken 75 years to get up to this crazy technology that we have now, which actually is at a point where it is possible to run an entire business with just one human. It's possible. Would you do it? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe you'd wait another 6 months or so before the technology is really mature in each of the areas, but it's certainly possible. What is affecting AI at the moment is not the technology, but it's us, humans. The speed of acceptance from human culture. This is what's slowing down adoption of AI.
Okay, wow.
So I was actually delivering training the last couple of days, and one of the participants in the course had a certain task that he needed to do next week. This task would take him hours, about 3 hours, to do the research he needed to then go and have meetings, and then another 3 hours work. I took him through doing that in less than 2 minutes.
Wow, that's impressive.
And yeah, it is impressive. This technology is crazy. It's insane crazy. Any white collar worker using generative AI can save between 1 and 3 hours of work per day by using these tools well. Now, imagine how more efficient a business could be if everyone was to save half an hour a day. That's 2.5 hours a week. That's like, here you go, here's an extra half a day. And I'm being super conservative. So the technology is already there today for individuals to work really efficiently. The technology is there today for businesses to work efficiently. The problem is a lot of senior leaders don't really understand the technology, don't understand the capability. And a lot of the mid-level people are a bit scared that actually it's going to take work away from them. So they're in self-preservation mode. There are people using generative AI tools in secret. So actually, this is stats from end of last year. 70% of people using ChatGPT at work are doing that in secret.
Why is that? What do you think?
Because businesses haven't got themselves organized around generative AI.
Okay.
They haven't said you can use this tool or you can't use that tool. Or you need to use this tool in this way. And so people, it's a phrase, it's AI shame at work. People have two big screens, they will put it on their little laptop screen there. They will hide it away. Like, this is really a thing.
Wow.
So Where your question was, where will AI be in the coming years?
So yeah, the question was if you think that AI is going to play a bigger role in enhancing businesses in the future.
Yes, I believe that businesses are playing catch up. So AI can play a massive role in businesses today,
Definitely.
but the world is slow. So what will the role play in the future? Well, there's a guy called Sam Altman, who's the CEO of OpenAI.
Yeah.
And he came up with a claim last year that the first $1 billion turnover company to have just one human employee will happen in the next 18 months. That's a big company with only one paycheck to give.
Yeah.
It's insane. There are banks now who are developing bank accounts for AI agents. Okay. So little AI tools that will do a certain job for someone. So there are websites, Fiverr and Upwork. These are websites where you can hire a graphic designer, or you can hire a salesperson. Humans, these are humans. 2 websites. There are now people developing websites where an AI marketing person will be available for you. There are banks who are anticipating that now and creating bank accounts for AI agents to be able to receive money for doing jobs.
Before starting the podcast, you've been telling us about AGI.
AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. So at the moment with AI, you have 2 different ways of using AI. You ask a question, it responds.
Okay.
That's us using Google Gemini ChatGPT. Now you've got businesses who will put a request in, and there's an automated process of various different decisions being made. This relies, though, on humans making an input. Artificial General Intelligence is artificial intelligence which is able to operate on its own. It's able to autonomously make decisions and take actions. So if we go to an extreme and you go to James Cameron's Terminator film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Skynet was artificial general intelligence. And so if you go on to Netflix and you have a look at the Terminator and watch that, there's quite an extreme scenario that could play out. But there are really good scenarios, right? You can have firefighters, which are autonomous robots making decisions. They can run into a house on fire and they can make decisions as to which room to run into first. Maybe you have 2 humans and a pet. It can then make a decision to go for the humans rather than the pets because maybe it values human life more than a pet's life. So artificial general intelligence is like a human, but AI, operating on its own, making its own decisions.
Wow, incredible. That's insane. Carlo, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your journey with us today. I mean, what you've built and how you've built Koshima is just a real reflection of what we do believe in at Grow from Dubai.
Thank you very much.
To everyone tuning in, we hope today's conversation gave you a new way to think about AI, about studying something new, and about why Dubai continues to be a place where ambition turns into opportunity. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow Grow from Dubai for more stories of people who are building their future right here in Dubai. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.